International Women's Day is a special day. It is celebrated every year on March 8th. On this day, we celebrate the achievements of women. We also raise awareness about the importance of gender equality. International Women's Day is a day for action. It's a day to challenge stereotypes. It's a day to fight bias and discrimination. Most importantly, it's a day to celebrate women's achievements. It is a day to call for a more equitable world. This day reminds us that women deserve equal opportunities. They deserve equal rights. This includes things like equal pay, education, and health care. It also includes the right to live free from violence and discrimination. International Women's Day is a global celebration. People all over the world come together to support women and girls. International Women's Day has its roots in the labor movement. In the early 1900s, women worked in factories and sweatshops. They faced long hours, low pay, and dangerous conditions. In 1908, thousands of women in New York City marched for their rights. They demanded better working conditions, shorter hours, and the right to vote. This event was a turning point in the fight for women's rights. The first International Women's Day was celebrated in 1911. It was celebrated in Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland. Over 1 million people attended rallies and events. They called for women's right to work, to vote, to hold public office, and to end discrimination. Today, International Women's Day is celebrated in many countries around the world. It is a day to reflect on the progress that has been made towards gender equality. It is also a day to acknowledge the challenges that women still face. In some countries, International Women's Day is a public holiday. In other countries, it is a day for marches, rallies, and protests. Many schools and organizations hold events to celebrate the day and educate people about women's rights. Despite the progress that has been made, gender inequality is still a major problem around the world. Women are still paid less than men for doing the same work. They are still underrepresented in positions of power. They are still more likely to experience violence and discrimination. There are many ways to celebrate International Women's Day and support gender equality. We can support organizations that are working to advance women's rights. We can educate ourselves and others about the history of women's rights. We can challenge gender stereotypes and discrimination when we see it. We can also celebrate the achievements of women. We can support the women in our lives. International Women's Day is a reminder that we all have a role to play in creating a more just and equitable world for women and girls. By working together, we can create a world where everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential.